When we have experienced a lot of toxic chronic stress or one or more traumatic events, our personality decides to split up in order to keep on functioning in the normal world. So there is one part of the personality, let's call it the apparently normal personality, that is composed of different survival strategies and coping mechanisms from the toxic stress event to kind of keep on living. And it can look like the very normal personality, but in fact it is a conundrum of, like, as I said, survival or coping mechanism. The normal personality would really be that who we really are naturally without any coping or survival mechanisms. And then we have the, let's call it the emotional self, which has all these parts of triggers and fragments inside that could be cognitive, that could be emotional, that could be somatic, which are highly charged, which we're doing everything to stay away from. So basically we have this apparently normal self, which is working to kind of keep us functioning and stay away from that emotional self, those emotionally charged parts or traumatic parts, stressed parts, because they remind us of what we don't want to be reminded of. Now, this apparently normal self has to undertake a lot of energy to keep this here in check, and it becomes very stressful over time, which is why people at some point get depressed, because that needs to be pressed down all the time. So does that make sense? Depression. But sometimes, for whatever reason, this stuff here can find its way up here. And then all of a sudden, we are overwhelmed again. We don't know why. Or we develop symptoms because the energy that is stuck in the emotional self here, in that traumatized self, that we hide, that we sometimes even know it exists, but the energy is there from, as we discussed, all the triggers, that energy at some point will come out. And it can manifest with symptoms, it can manifest with illnesses, it can manifest with psychological, mental challenges. So what we need to do is realize that this is a coping mechanism, this is there, but there is a core self inside that is not hurt, that is whole, that is healed, that is always safe. And that this here over time can start to relax, and this here over time can start to come out. And then boom, the energy that we used to keep this in check can be free, and we bring it into our world, and this is then what we call living our potential or living our purpose, because then we get from surviving into thriving.